everyone, and welcome to the Creation Entertainment Podcast. I'm Kit Bowen, and we've got a great show for you today. Co-CEO Adam Malin and myself discussed a deep dive of season 3 of The Diplomat on Netflix, starring Kerry Russell and Rufus Sewell. You want to tune into this if you're a fan of the show, or even if you're not, you're going to want to watch the show after you hear what we have to say.
Hi guys, welcome once again to Creation Entertainment's fantastic pop culture cinema squad. I'm Malin, joined as always by my illustrious and beautiful co-host, Miss Kit Bowen. Hey Kit.
Hi guys. How's everyone doing? How are you doing, Adam?
I mean, we're great, back again, and we've wrapped up an amazing third season to The Diplomat. Kit, you turned me on to the show. Before we kind of do our deep dive on season 3, just some general thoughts on it. It's such a literate, intelligent, clever show.
Yeah, it's created by Deborah Kahn, who has a very great pedigree. She's written and produced for West Wing, Homeland, Grey's Anatomy. So she really gets the sort of political speak, but in such a interesting way, because The Diplomat is a political thriller. There's no question. It's like, House of Cards, but the characters and the relationships are what really makes this show really zing. So, and Kerry Russell is just on the top of her game with this one. I mean, I'm hoping at some point maybe if it keeps going, she'll get a an award for this, because she certainly deserves it. But
why don't we let's start by doing a deep dive on the characters themselves.
Okay.
And Kerry Russell as Diplomat Kate Weiler.
Yes. So she is sort of I feel like she's kind of idealistic in a way, I mean, she knows how to play the game better than anybody, but she's very idealistic, and her morals are pretty strong as far as the do's and don'ts of what you do as a,
Now she's been the U.S. ambassador to the U.K. Is that right?
Well, she starts the series starts off as she's been, she was sort of like she would be in Iraq and whatnot, kind of like the Homeland character, Claire Danes' character, working as a field agent. I guess that's the best way to say it. And that's how she ends up meeting her husband. We'll get into him in a second. Rufus Sewell is playing Hal. But she's appointed at the beginning of this. She's appointed as an ambassador to the UK. She doesn't really want it.
Yeah.
But she goes in and she does it. And her husband, who used to also be a diplomat, and he's kind of retired, sort of, or he's not really in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
But he still wants to play it through her, basically. So that's how it starts off. So she's a reluctant ambassador at first.
Yeah. You're alluding to Rufus Sewell, of course, who plays Hal Weiler. And I mean, I think he actually wants to be in the game all along.
It's yes.
The opportunity finally presents itself.
In season 3, yeah.
Kate, her marriage, her ambition, her ethical compass are all under duress.
Yes.
And in season 3, she finally faces the nightmare of getting what she aimed for, but at great cost.
Yes. Yes. So we're introduced to all these really great characters in season 1. The international crisis that comes up is a UK warship has been sunk, and like 23 men have died on this. It was attacked and sunk, and they're trying to figure out who actually did it. And they think it's the Russians that, basically it is the Russians. Come to find out that it is the Russians. By the way, guys, spoiler alerts. If you haven't watched any of The Diplomat, definitely you got to start from the beginning, but we are going to be giving some stuff away. So
now,
haven't watched it, watch it, come back and then hear our take on it. So
the UK Prime Minister is that fabulous actor,
Roy Kinnear,
who we love him. He played Frankenstein in Penny Dreadful.
He's one of those British character actors who just pops up in all kinds of stuff. Yeah. He's very recognizable. Yeah, but I feel like beyond this role, he does a very good job as the PM in this. But that Frankenstein performance was pretty spectacular.
Sure. Now we have to mention that,
Frankenstein's monster, by the way,
yes,
not actually Frankenstein.
as we go into season three, the president of the United States has died, and the former vice president, whom we're going to talk about, Grace Penn, played by the great Allison Janney,
Yes.
ascends to power. Any comments on Allison?
Well, I mean, I guess we'll dive deep. She becomes president because she ultimately is the one who came up with this idea of attacking the British ship, which was then passed through sort of a shady political figure played by Celia Imrie. She plays Meg Rowland. Um,
Why did they hatch this plot in the first place?
I
Can you?
think I believe it was to position themselves in a better way with the Russians and all of this. It was basically like a chess move in a way to make the Russians look bad and that kind of thing. So I think it was just all put together in
Bad,
that way.
bad,
But
bad
the fact
thinking.
that we find out that Grace was the one behind it all,
Yeah,
and that Kate's being ethical as she is, and Hal also agreeing with her, they feel like they need to tell they think they're going to tell the Secretary of State, but he ends up actually telling the president himself, played by Michael McKean. Very, very great little role for him playing the president,
yeah,
and it
pretty great.
shocks him so badly that he dies of a heart attack right
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
But
Uh,
yes, Allison Janney is a very interest. Her Grace Penn is a very interesting character because she is complicated.
yeah,
And definitely power hungry. I mean, I think that is ultimately her main modus operandi. Now, here's the situation when they bring Kate in to the UK to be the ambassador, they're sort of grooming her to take over the vice presidency because they want Grace Penn out. So she becomes her chief of staff, but the chief of staff for the president at that time, played by Nana Mensah, Billy, she's
yeah.
kind of working with Hal and also Stuart Hefford, who's Kate.
Otto Essendo.
He plays Kate's deputy of chief of mission at the UK
Yeah,
embassy. Anyway, they're sort of all in cahoots in trying to get Kate to be vice president, and Hal is sort of saying this role will then move you into that role, and she doesn't know if she wants to be VP either,
yeah.
but she's willing to do all this stuff. But yes, long story short,
President
he
dies.
becomes prez.
Yeah. And by the way, I love Bradley Whitford, who plays her husband Todd.
This third season, yeah.
It's,
Every West Wing person out there in the world is just
uh,
like, yeah.
I mean, this his presence in the plot sort of introduces another dimension, sort of
Yes.
marriage against power, the role of spouses in politics. It's a fascinating study.
Yeah, let's dive deep into season 3. So, yes.
Well, I think first of all, let's just some basics. There's 8 episodes in the third season.
Yep.
It premiered, I'm showing October 16th on
Yep.
Netflix. It's on Netflix. And sort of follows through on with the death of the president and the ascendancy of Grace. It becomes really the story of not only the revelation of her involvement in that whole fiasco, but it leads up into an incredible power play regarding a nuclear bomb on board a sunk Russian submarine.
Correct.
Yeah.
So to kind of start us off on season 3, basically now Hal is being touted as being the VP pick, right?
Yes.
So Grace has decided she thinks Hal might be a good fit for as her VP. Kate thinks she was supposed to get it, and it ends up there's sort of a little twist there, and Grace says, "I kind of want Hal to do it." So
Yeah.
that kind of sends Kate into a funk.
Kate doesn't know how to deal with it. And by the way, Rufus Sewell is fantastic. I love
So good,
so good.
so good.
You know.
But so that's kind of how the season 3 starts with Kate having to decide, and then you think she's going to be the dutiful, whatever they call a second lady, I guess is what they call the VP wife, and go off with him to DC and be there, and he wants her to take on this really great new role in the White House administration, and this kind of stuff.
But she ultimately opts to stay in UK.
She opts to stay in the UK.
And
Another
by the way,
character.
she's
Another. Go ahead.
interjecting. She's got this wonderful counterpoint, the UK Foreign Secretary,
Yes.
Austin, played by David Gyasi, who is sensational.
Yeah. Yeah. And they kind of in the second season, first season actually, they sort of have a, a little like
They
their
have an
little,
affair.
little fling. Yeah, because here's the thing about Kate and Hal. One of the best relationships on TV that I've ever seen because it's very realistic in the sense that they're both they can't quit each other. They want to. They want to. Well, Kate
Yeah,
wants to quit Hal.
yeah,
She's really tired of his bullshit and all that kind of stuff, but she can't quit him. They have this thing. They are connected in a way, and it's the whole 3 seasons. They're like, well, are they going to break up? Are they not going to break up? Anyway, so she's also has these little dalliances in between there with other people, but she's definitely you know at the on the outs with Hal.
and as long as we're talking about complex relationships, there's another relationship on the show that I love. Now, there's a CI station chief in
Yes,
London, Idra, played by Ali An.
I love her.
She's fantastic, and she has this fascinating relationship with Stuart,
Yes,
Pato Essendo's character.
yes.
I think he really loves her, but she's being in the CIA, she's in such a murky worldview and in a dark world that she has to negotiate. I think that she can't have a functional relationship.
No, and here's her little backstory here at this point is that Meg Rowland, who we come to find out was a big part of this whole attack on the British UK, and she's, like I said, a kind of shady political figure. They
Yeah,
take her into custody. Well, they take her to a safe house, so they're going to give her like a new identity. And instead, she decides to kill herself,
yeah,
which is a big red flag for anyone under it's like under her watch that this happens. So she is now fighting for her job to stay as CIA London station chief.
yeah.
And she, Kate likes to confide to her about all this stuff going on, and she's like, I really don't need to know. I shouldn't know. So stop talking. It's a great relationship. Yeah.
Well, so kind of describe the long arc of the season, the flow of the arc.
So at this point now, Grace is president, and she picks Hal. Hal finally gets it. Kate decides she wants to stay as ambassador, so she's going to be doing like flying back and forth. But basically, Kate says we can't be married anymore. I mean, I will maintain the illusion that we are still married, and
Yeah, but she
the PR machine in DC is trying to make them seem like they're like this great power couple.
but she says that, but at the 11th hour, she decides that she wants to go
Well,
back.
we'll get to that in a second. We'll
All
get
right.
to that in a second.
Okay.
So she's still doing her thing in the UK, and she's actually doing well. And like by season 3 or 4, you come to find out that Hal doesn't they don't see each other all that much. And then a new character comes into play, which is Caleb Ellis, played by Aidan Turner, who turns out to be an MI6 agent. And he and Kate have
Their own galleon.
they're having a torrid love affair.
Yeah.
And so Callum's job is that he has found out that there is a missing Russian sub, basically, and they're trying to find it. Comes to find out that it's actually like 12 miles off the coast of the UK,
It sank and I
and
guess
it
killed the whole
sank,
crew.
and it has a doomsday, nuclear device on board.
Nuclear device, yes.
Okay. That's one whole part of the arc. The second part of the arc is there is a anonymous Russian person who they call them walk-ins. I love that. Call them walk-ins. So he comes to the embassy and says, "Hey, I know what happened with that UK ship, and I know who's the one who basically was the one who spearheaded it." And he's about basically the idea is that Grace is going to be outed, that she was the one who orchestrated this.
Yeah.
And there's a great scene where they go to the Penn's, seaside mansion or whatever the heck where they go on their
In,
retreats.
in Amagansett, by the way, on Long
Right.
Island. Yeah.
And Grace is like, I'll come out and say it was me. I'll take the bullet. I'll do this. And then of course this whole like, no, you can't do that. Da, da, da. And then like at the 11th hour again, Kate's being pushed out. They're like, Hal and Grace are going to figure this out. But Kate comes up with the idea, why don't we blame it on the dead president? Why don't we blame it on Rayburn?
Right.
So they come up with this plan to do that. And they call Trowbridge to the mansion, and he comes via, helicopter,
Yeah.
and she
The
comes clean.
UK Prime Minister. Yeah.
Yeah, the UK Prime Minister.
Yeah.
She comes clean with him and says this is what happened. It was Rayburn after all, and he's fairly shocked by all of that. And they say, okay, we're going to do this press conference, and you're going to, say it was Rayburn, blah, blah, blah. Or you're not going to say it's Rayburn. You're going to say that, there was U.S. involvement, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll move forward. And instead,
That's not what happens.
nope, because Trowbridge he's a great character because he's a weasel. I think he's a weasel.
I think he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And he says, oh, it was Rayburn.
Yeah, he
And
out
they're all like,
he has
"Oh
the whole
crap, that's not what we. That's not what." And see, that was for me. That was Grace's turning point. That is when she decides, okay, I gotta, pardon all of our languages here. I gotta fuck with this guy now because this just royally pissed me off.
Well, we all want to see retribution on this dude. He's nasty.
I know, but the retribution that she ends up doing is not great either. So
No, she's kind of well, she's becoming part of the political machine too.
yes, yes. So yes, come to find out that there is this weapon on board. They tell Trowbridge again, and he doesn't believe them. He doesn't believe that there's a nuclear thing on the ship, and he doesn't want any help from the U.S. He's
Yeah,
completely shutting the U.S. out. He
yeah.
wants to go to China to help them get rid of this or find this sub or whatnot. And
Terrible betrayal, because we all know that if China gets its hands on it, that's another disaster.
I mean, they're like, "Are you crazy? You can't go to China."
Well,
So he's completely playing hardball with them
control.
until Kate last minute. She's always like the saving grace person, the voice of wisdom who comes through. And she and Hal obviously have been talking about this, and Hal goes, go, go, go. So she goes up to him and she says, this is what will happen. You will sink this thing. You will put it under the bottom of the sea, under concrete,
Concrete dome, yeah,
and no one will get any kind of power over this nuclear weapon. No one will have power over it. No one will know it, and no one will own it. And he finally agrees that that's what they're going to do.
yeah.
But
But
very end, you find out that the U.S., who did go down and do the kind of scoping of it to show Trowbridge, yes, look, see, the nuclear device is on board,
they didn't.
But
They
what
didn't.
they failed to say is that they took it.
They retrieved the nuclear device.
They took it.
But
Trowbridge doesn't know this at the end of season 3, though.
well, Kate didn't know it either. Hal kept
He
it
figured
from
it
her.
out.
It's a
So
dirty.
yeah, so through all of this, Hal has been the two of them have been at odds, but then she really realizes, at the bottom line that they actually should stay together, that they're better together than they are apart. And she comes back to him and she says, "I'm so sorry. I want to come back. Blah blah blah. I'll come to DC and all this." And she's willing to be with him again. And then they were all like, "Yay, okay, they're gonna stay together." And then
Another betrayal.
she figures it out. And Bradley Whitford's character Todd, he has been sort of hinting at the fact that he thinks that his wife and Hal are getting a little too chummy, a little too close. And
You
he
think
kind of points it out to Kate, and she's like, and they're both standing there, as the press is taking a bunch of pictures, and Hal and Grace are sort of, whispering to each other, and Kate looks at him, and you're like, oh my
do you
god.
think there's anything to that, or
I don't think that they have any romantic feelings for each other, but
well, clearly they're
definitely,
opportunists because I mean, again, the fact that Hal has kept the secret about the retrieval of the nuclear device from Kate, I think is an ultimate betrayal.
yeah. And once again, she opens her heart up to him one more time, and then he just steps all over it again. It's like, God bless it, man. He's just too power hungry. I mean,
It's
he
crazy.
really is, and he can't stand it when he's not the king bee. And even though he and Kate have, they sort of have a relationship where they both respect each other and what they've been doing up to a certain point.
Yeah.
But now it's like, yeah, so Grace and Hal are hatching it up, man. They are gonna.
That sort of leads us out of the third season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, an amazing saga. Any kind of conclusions coming off that third season?
I mean, I'm curious to see how they will take the Kate Howell relationship because, now it's getting a little old hat where they're back and they're gone. They're, off and then they're on and then they're off and they're on, which I mean, it's worked. I don't think it's been, kind of too eye rolling, but at some point in time, they're going to have to, I hope that they'll move it forward in a different way.
Well, I do think that that disharmony, that kind of dysfunction between them has been one of the spines of the show.
Yeah, I know. I know. And, we got to, and this season too, we got to see a little bit of flashback on how they met.
Yeah.
He was the ambassador or something in Iraq or one of those places, and they had met there. And yeah, I mean, yeah,
And then, of course, what's going to happen with Trowbridge, I also think is really,
yeah.
uh,
Well, I think that the Dennison character, he should probably be PM. There was a moment he almost thought he was going to oust Trowbridge, but Trowbridge managed to pull it through again for another. I don't know how all that works. It seems like for me in the UK, PMs come and go. They're always being voted out, or it seems pretty easy to get one out. But yeah, we'll see how it all turns around. But just some of the most brilliant writing, so quick, so interesting, so compelling. I mean, you literally watch one episode and you're just sucked in immediately. And I think that has everything to do with the performances as well. So, you're only as good as the words on the page. If you can really bring them to life the way these characters do, it's like just top notch. So,
I agree. And I hope our viewers will, based upon our recommendation, go and watch the show. You guys should send us your comments, any notes
yes,
on the series, as well as if we happen to miss anything, please point them out to us.
yes.
Uh, Kit, we have some fun stuff coming up. Cinema Squad is going to be doing a countdown of the top 20 aliens in sci-fi film and TV, as well as our top 20 favorite monsters. Completely biased lists, by the way. So we'll be getting to those over the next couple of weeks. And Kit,
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Yeah, and like and subscribe and do all that great stuff down below. We really appreciate you guys tuning in and listen to our favorite stuff.
all right, Kit, always a pleasure. Love you.
Love you
Thanks,
too.
everybody. See you guys soon.
Bye bye. What did I tell you? Isn't that sound like an amazing show? It really is. You absolutely have to check it out if you haven't seen it on Netflix, The Diplomat. Coming up, we're pretty much at the end of the year for 2025, but in 2026, we have an amazing slate of great shows to come to. So check us out at creationent.com. Find the show that you like, from Supernatural fan conventions to the Vampire Diaries fan conventions, and our new franchise Rescue Verse, a salute to the TV's first responders. So definitely check out all that we have in store for 2026 and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Bye bye.